And yes, we're doing a more extensive review of the FjällRäven Abisko Lite 2. Let's start then, shall we? Just before we do start, if you go back in my library, you will see I've done an honest opinion on the FjällRäven Abisko Lite 2. But this one is for you tent lovers out there with all the little specifics. And stay tuned, because there's a little surprise at the end of this video. There she is then, the beauty. You get the FjällRäven Abisko Lite 2 stuff sack with the tent inside. You get the pegs and the poles, which I will be going into detail further in the video. Altogether, a combined weight of 2,070 grams, which is 2.07 kilograms. And there she is. Now, those tent critics out there will probably say I've not pitched this correctly, or it could do better here, and you know what, you're probably right. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just getting it up nice and quick, enough so you can see it in the correct manner. So for those who don't already know, this is the FjällRäven Abisko Lite 2. It's a 4-season tunnel tent. And as I mentioned earlier on, it's only 2.07 kilograms, which is very, very good if you want to take it up the mountains. Now you can get this tent in 3 different colours: green, like I've got here, sand, and blue. And just before we start going into the specifics, this tent ranges online at the moment, as of today, from about £525 to £700. So the fly sheet is a triple rip polyamide with a 3000 hydrostatic head. Now, if you check out my library of the videos, this has kept me dry in all weathers. And due to this being a 4-season tent, you're most likely going to take this out in all weather conditions. So by keeping this inner dry during pitch, the inner is already connected to the fly sheet. So you don't have to do any of this before pitching up the tent, which is beautiful because it keeps this dry whilst pitching up in any sort of weather. And when I was telling you about the 3000 hydrostatic head of the fly sheet, the floor is 6000 hydrostatic head. Now if you want to increase airflow and the view, because you've taken this beautiful tent up a mountain on a glorious sunny day, you can actually roll this up to here. You can roll this up to here, as seen on the screen now. And like I said, you can increase that airflow, making this a much cooler tent. And of course, by having this fully open, which I will show you that I've done here now, it just increases that view that you can see. Wow. Let's talk about the poles for a second. So with your purchase, you do get 2 colour-coded DAC Featherlight NSL poles with low friction and easily adjusted fox feet, which I'm going to show you on the other side. And the 2 colours, you get red and you get gold. And it's colour coordinated on the tent. As you can see, you've got this gold lip and you've got this red lip. And at the bottom, you can see the fox feet. Now you can see there is 2. Now this gives you an option to actually double pole, which will give this much more strength in those exposed weathers. And I am fortunate enough that I actually have another set of poles. So when it becomes winter in North Wales, I will be doubling up this tent. Now the poles do come in at 9.6 millimeters, and like I said, they're DAC Featherlight, so they are very sturdy and very reliable. And if you don't believe me, go and check out my library and you will see last winter I was put in some hellish conditions. But it's because of those conditions I forked out and paid the extra 100 quid and got another set of poles, just to make sure I don't fly off. Now what I'm showing you in full effect here is the DAC V-pegs. Now you get 16 of these with the FjällRäven Abisko Lite 2, and attached to them is a little bit of guy line, so you can just give them a quick tug and they just come right out the ground. However, they are sturdy enough to keep your tent safe and firm into the ground. That made no sense, but they are good pegs. If you do follow my channel, you will know that I do use delta pegs on the guy lines, especially because I live in North Wales, and especially in the winter, because wow, our conditions are rough. Now, talking about guy lines, they are the staple to keeping your tent stable in those conditions. And the FjällRäven provides you with 6 2mm Dyneema reflective guy lines, and what's the beauty is they're one-hand adjustable, so you can do it in all weathers with gloves on. It's been proven on my channel. So there's a little bit of the specifics on the outside and the external side of the tent. Now, as you can see from this side on view, it's got good ventilation. So you've got one big vent here, and then of course, like most tunnel tents, you've got another big vent at the back, and I'll show you the vents more inside. And of course, if it's dry enough that day when you're camping, you can actually roll up the vestibule, and look at that for a porch. Now, I'm 6'1", about 115 kilograms, and I fit in that, so no excuse. There you go, look at that. Yes, my legs are out, but if it was raining, I wouldn't have this open anyway. Now, as you can see, I'm currently in this vestibule, and it's got a moon door as an entrance. Oh, there we are. Now I've got entrance to my humble abode. Also, please don't judge the floor of this. I went camping a few days ago. I've not had a chance to clean it. It's just got feathers and a bit of crap everywhere. And there you are. There is your entrance to your fantastic tunnel tent. Now look what you can see what I've done here. I've actually tied the door up so it's nice and neat. If the floor is wet, it's not going to get soaked and damp, and it's not going to get dirty or get caught by you sitting on it on the inside. That's a fantastic feature. And another feature I like, it's got this FjällRäven logo here just in the entrance, just to remind you every time that when you're getting into this tent, you're getting into a prestige tent and you're going to be protected for the night. And as you can see here, there is an abundance of room. Now, this is a 2-person tent. However, personally, I would not want to share this with another individual. This is a royal 1-man tent, I would say, but that is the case with most 2-people tents, isn't it? 2-people tents, 2-person tents. Now, as you can see, I can fit in this quite well. I'm actually sitting up. Yeah, my head touches the inner, but not much. It's not causing me any discomfort, but the further to the front of the tent I get, the more space. Further back I get, less space. Basic tunnel tent. Physics. So as I'm looking out to the tent, you can see this grand vestibule that I have here. Space for my bag, my boots. I cook in here as well, so abundance of room. I've got my front vent, which I've poorly tied up here, but you can tie it away like that, or you can have it shut like that. And that's exactly the same for the back of the tent as well, but I'll show you that in a minute. Now, in this tent, you do have 4 pockets. You have one large one, one small one, one large one, one small one. Fantastic area of space there to put whatever you need in. I use this mainly for my rubbish, my keys and my phone. Things that I need quickly, or things that don't basically need to be out of the way for the rest of the trip. Now, there's 2 attachment areas here. I use one of these for my light, but I suppose you could attach a wire for any other particular reason, but I use this as my hanging lantern section. And what you'll see now is me working my way from the back of the tent to the front, and that's a dry line. So I've used this a few times when I've been out in the tent. You can just hang up your wet socks or wet shorts, but obviously you've got to be careful because you don't want to dampen too much of your inner. But you do have a nice little dry line there running from the back to the front. And whilst I'm down here at the bottom end of the tunnel tent, there is actually 2 attachment areas this end as well. So again, you could touch another wire or use it to whatever you want to use it for. Now, the vent at the back basically has the same function as the front. You have a little access area here, and then you can either close this or tie it up like the front one was before. Brilliant. And this is your door closed, but that's not it. If it's a very, very warm day but the midges are out, you can actually open the material side and just have mesh open there. Now, don't worry, this isn't just going to flop around. It's actually got a separate tie out point, so I could roll that up, and as you can see there, I can tie that away, fantastic. Or obviously if there's no midges and you want the whole thing down, just use the additional zip, bish bash bosh, jobs are good in, tie it away and you're living your dream. Now I've had to get out of that tent because it's a muggy old day and I'm starting to sweat inside of there. So how about, before I get this bad boy down, I tell you the little surprise that I said was going to happen at the beginning of the video. Now you actually might not think this is not really a surprise and it doesn't interest me in the slightest, but to some of you camping lovers out there, this might just prick your ears up. Now obviously, because I'm trying to grow my channel, I'm going to start to use other tents throughout the year. I can't just keep using the FjällRäven Abisko Lite 2 because I need to try out other tents. And by trying out other tents, I become a little bit more relatable to people trying to start camping. Because when I started camping, there was no way I was forking out £500 to £700 for this tent. So I want to start doing some realistic reviews with your OEXs, your Vangos, your nature hikes. The list goes on, there's so many. Now saying that, I am going to attach my email into the comment section of this video. If you would like to sell me a tent, or lend me a tent in fact, just to take out so I can get a proper review for you guys and put it on the internet, I'll happily discuss those options with you. But alongside with that email, if you'd like to make an offer for the FjällRäven Abisko Lite 2, I would be more than happy to negotiate a nice price for you. Now, I can't say it's going to be below the 525, which is the lowest I can find online. It won't be. And the reason for that is because the additional poles, and I've actually got a custom footprint for this tent. Now the custom footprint is about £80 itself. The poles, like I said, you can get from about 80 to 100, so that's nearly an additional £200. But I am willing to negotiate with you, or if you've got a fair swap that you think kind of equates to the FjällRäven Abisko Lite 2, I'd be down to listen to that as well. And if this does tickle your interest a little bit, just go and check out my library. This tent has been used a lot, in all fairness, it has. So it has devalued. However, it's got value because you've seen the sturdiness of the thing. And you know, it's well maintained. And I promise, all my farts are out of it. So please, give me an email. If you want to lend me a tent, sell me a tent, you want to negotiate the FjällRäven, by all means, drop me an email and I'll get back to you as quick as I possibly can. And I always get back to people. So if you want to comment on the comments as well, if you don't like using email, there's other ways that we can communicate. So just get in the comments, let me know what you think about the FjällRäven Abisko Lite 2. And I did mention earlier as well, I've probably not done this to expertise levels. So any criticisms, whack them in, love to see them. Where do you rank the FjällRäven Abisko Lite 2 in a tier test? What's number one? Where does this fall into that list? And what I will say as well, I'm going to promote it. So I've started a buy me a coffee link. Now, that's not for me just to get personal gain. Like I said a moment ago, I want to start getting new tents so I can become a bit more relatable to people who are just starting camping. Yes, I'm still going to use the higher end tents as well, because my own safety, and they're fun to use. But to be able to comfortably, you know, afford these tents on a regular basis, it ain't easy. And this ain't no beg or request and saying I can't get these tents unless you help me. That's not the case. It's just for you guys. If you want to help contribute to the Key Camps channel, help it grow. We're currently on the way to 1,000 subscribers, which I never thought I'd be saying, and we're very, very close to getting that. Then this is the link here. Now please, you don't even have to donate if you go on there. Just come and have a chat on there. Let's grow a little community. Let's get to know one another. And in the future, I would love to do a subscriber camp. Not even just one of you. Let's get a few and let's go out somewhere. Little community, get to know each other and have a fantastic time camping. Now, if you join this link, you'll be able to donate, buy me a coffee, or just have a chinwag. Either's fine. Let's get this tent down and I'm going to show you the best bit I love about this tent at the very end. Now, I absolutely love this bit about the tent. I've quickly taken the poles, all the pegs out, nice and easy. And now look, I can just grab this tent whatever way I want and literally just stuff the tent into the stuff sack. Now this is incredible for wet weathers. If it's cold and you want to get off the mountain, or you know, if you're in danger for any reason, you need to get off the mountain nice and quick. Now look how quick that has just packed down into the stuff sack. Now there is limits to this, I'll tell you now. It's all well and good stuffing it down to get down off the mountain and get home, but when you get home, tent maintenance is a must. I get that out I dry it out, I air it out for at least a few days until I stuff it back in. But it is a godsend when you need to get off that mountain quick. Now that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for staying with me. Now, as always, like I said before, please comment away. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Love having a chat, and use the email if you want to negotiate something about tents. And if you are new to the Key Camps channel, please like, subscribe, because I do most videos every weekend, either reviews or going out camping, or we just go for a bit of a hike. So with that being said, I'm off to the shop to get a Coke because I'm absolutely sweating. I'll see you next time.